Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to Your Black World. And here we have what we call daddy-daughter discussions. This is where me and my daughter Patrice get together and talk about the stuff that fathers and daughters either are talking about, don't want to talk about, or need to be talking about, or maybe stuff they shouldn't even be talking about. But we're going to talk about it anyway. How you doing today, Patrice?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Dad?
I'm doing really well, and today is Sunday, and I heard that you went down to my homeboy Kevin Cosby's church, and he just shut it down like he always does.
It was really good.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, people that don't know, they just. I feel sorry for people that don't know about Kevin Cosby. That man is a hell of a pastor.
Like, you know how, like, when you go to a certain city, if you don't go to a particular restaurant, then you've never actually been to that city?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like with Louisville, if you've never been to St. Stephen's, or if you've never been to Bates, or you've never been to Indy's Chicken, you ain't never been to Louisville. Period.
St. Stephen's Church. Yep. St. Stephen's Church is where Pastor Cosby runs. He has two churches, right? One in Indiana and one in Louisville, right?
Three.
He has three campuses now?
Yeah, Hardin County, I think it's a church that they didn't have built from the ground, because, you know, Indiana and St. Stephen's were built from the ground, but it's St. Stephen's out in Hardin County now, so he goes to three churches on Sundays.
Wow. That's a hard-working preacher.
Yeah, he does it.
Yeah, he does a good job with it, because he uses a lot of he gets the church to support him in developing an HBCU, Simmons College down there, which I think is just a remarkable idea, because a lot of people give a lot of criticism to the black church because they may not use their money for things that are helping the community, but he's actually doing that. He's actually getting the members to understand the importance of supporting education and economic development, and he's actually putting it into action, which is, I think that's the foundation of our respect for each other.
And, you know, it's unfortunate because sometimes I feel like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Now, if he was, you know, doing some sideways stuff like a lot of preachers, then I think he would get a lot of attention. He would probably be the talk of the town, but being that he is a preacher who I personally feel has been trying to do the right thing since I started going to that church at 9 years old, I've always been a fan of Reverend Cosby, and, you know, I think that he deserves the recognition that he should have.
Right. Well, you know, you're always going to have haters. You know, they say if you ain't got no haters, then you haven't done anything notable. In fact, the Chinese have a saying that says the fattest pig always gets slaughtered. So that means that when people see you and you draw attention, that means people will start aiming the darts at you. Like, when they see you up there, it's like, I'm going to see if I can pop that pig and knock that piggy out the sky. So that's what's going to happen.
He's not a pig. He's nice and slender.
He ain't no piggy. He ain't. Now me, I need to lose some weight. But no, he's definitely slender. But he's definitely a guy that gets that attention. And with that attention, good things can come, but bad things can come. Believe me, I know. I got people that love me to death. You meet them and they love you before they meet you, and it's an amazing feeling. It is a true blessing. But then you got people that hate you before they meet you. Like literally want to fight you, and you don't even know this person. So it's crazy. It's very, very weird. So that's the hard part. When you affect the lives of a lot of people, you get a lot of different reactions. So sometimes it's hard to figure all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. So you were asking me earlier today about something that you wanted to talk about when it came to introducing boyfriends to your father.
Yeah. I think one of the topics that someone reached out to me about was introducing how girls should introduce their fathers to their boyfriends, and how fathers should introduce their daughters to their girlfriends after leaving a relationship with their mother.
Ooh.
That's a good one, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. I mean, if you've been married to your child's mom for 10 years, or if you were with her for, however many years, and y'all have this many children together, it can be really difficult and awkward when it comes to introducing a new woman to your children, because your children may not take her in like you would want them to, but they probably think, well, why should we? Because she's not our mom. So That's a good topic for us to talk about. And just, I think that sometimes when girls introduce their boyfriends to their dads, it can be a little bit of fear, because every girl knows that your father is supposed to be like your first boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So when you introduce your father to your new boyfriend, and it just kind of makes him feel like he's not your boyfriend no more. Which
Daddy, we breaking up.
The most platonic and clean way possible.
But you know, my belief is that the father is the boyfriend that never leaves. He's the one that's always going to be there in case the other boyfriend doesn't work out. And I think it's even weird calling the father the boyfriend. It sounds strange, but it is kind of a good analogy because you know, he is a protector and he's an emotional support system. And I think the best thing about a parent, and the reason I think the relationship with a parent is kind of sacred to a point, is because because boyfriends and girlfriends kind of come and go. Even wives and husbands come and go. But usually your parent is supposed to be there for good, no matter what. And sometimes I think we can make a mistake if we blow off a parent or just dismiss a parent or eliminate a parent from our lives because they don't mesh well with the person that we're dating. I think that's a very risky move. I mean, sometimes parents make it hard though. Sometimes parents become overbearing, overly judgmental, sometimes just flat out mean, overly possessive. And I think that when you do that as a parent, you're also asking for trouble. You're creating a natural divide. And because that relationship between the parent and the boyfriend or the parent and the girlfriend is a real delicate relationship and a very important relationship. Like, I tell even young guys, like, you don't want your wife or your girlfriend going to war with your mother. That's going to make you feel like crap. And so really, I tell them, be smart. Don't, think about it when you bring a woman around your family. Ask yourself, how's she going to mesh with my family? Because if she's not going to mesh well, just know that you about to walk into a battlefield. What do you think?
I definitely think that that's true. And, for me, when I'm dating, I think that the mom, when I meet a man's mother, if she welcomes me, then that makes me feel like I can be myself. And I'm not, when I am myself, I'm not an inappropriate person. I'm not rude. I'm not disrespectful. But I think that some moms, unfortunately, have this feeling like they are their son's girlfriend or wife. And how can you compete with that? You can't tell this man, well, I don't want you talking to your mother anymore, because that's just flat out rude. You don't do that. But at the same time, I think that it is up to him to just kind of let her know, this is my girlfriend, this is how it's going to be, or this is my wife, this is how it's going to be. If she's not disrespecting you, then don't disrespect her. Because sometimes parents do go a bit overboard. Mm-hmm. And, I think that you have to think about if you want to deal with that forever, not just if he wants his mom and his wife constantly at war, but you have to think about if you're willing to fight her forever, if you're married to her son, because at some point you're going to get tired of being called names or being disrespected, and I can't blame you. Mm-hmm. But it's up to your husband or to a man's wife to say, look, mom, look, dad, stop treating him like that, stop treating her like that. She's not disrespecting you, he's not disrespecting you, so don't disrespect them.
Well, I think that every relationship, the key word in every relationship is usually compromise. And the hard thing about compromise is that not everybody that you're compromising with is willing to compromise with you. So sometimes you got to compromise with people who don't want to compromise at all. And you have to decide if winning the battle is more important than saving the relationship. What matters the most? I know somebody where they started a relationship and she was going to get married to a guy, and she went to war with his family, because the family was disrespectful toward her, and so she was disrespectful back. And it got to the point where with the wedding, they were arguing over who the best man would be, and she was saying, I'm not going to let him be the best man and stuff like that. And before long, the boyfriend just called and said, I can't marry you now. I can't be with you anymore. And, and it was sad to me because I knew she was justified. I mean, the family was kind of being jerks, in a way. They weren't being very respectful. But I said, you're almost never going to win when you go to war with somebody's family. You're not. Eventually, they will probably get rid of you and go back to the people that have been with them since they were in diapers. So I think that there's a lot of different perspectives to look at when you're talking about bringing somebody home. There's the perspective of the person who's bringing somebody in, the perspective of the person who's being brought in, and the perspective of the people who are already in the house, right? So you're bringing a boyfriend home to me, so I'm already there waiting, for you to bring him to me, right? Let's play this out. I think we should play it out from 3 different points of view so that we can see how the compromise comes into play. I'll start with me, okay, and then I'll let you kind of give me your perspective on each angle. So we're gonna break it into 3 pieces: me, you, him. It's like a play on the stage, and there's 3 characters. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So each character I'm gonna describe and give my point of view. Then I want you to give me yours. Okay. So it's me, you, me, you, me, you. All right. Me. Here's what my position is. Here's what I believe my position. My position is this: you're 25 years old, and you're showing me the respect of bringing a guy home to me to get my approval of this guy or to get my opinion of this guy, right? So you're giving me respect you don't have to give me. I mean, I can act like, well, you know what? My daughter better not date nobody without my permission. But truth is, you can date whoever you want. You don't have to tell me who you're dating. So I have to respect that. I can't act like I'm the final authority. I have to give you the respect of the fact that you took the time to bring him home. I also have to give him respect for the fact that he respects me enough to feel compelled to get my approval. Because remember, a lot of times people will get their parents' approval for marriage or for a relationship, but they really don't have to do that. So I think when parents, how can you say this, either overstay their welcome, if you will, or push it too far, or push their luck too far. You know what I mean? Somebody's giving you something, and you're just pushing it by being a complete ass about it. What you're doing is you're asking yourself to be disrespected and excluded from the conversation. Because if you bring home a guy, and I'm like, he ain't shit, I better not see you dating him anymore. If you bring him out of my house, I'm kicking both of y'all's asses. If I act that way, and let's say you love him, well, then I'm creating a divide between me and my daughter. I'm creating a situation that's stressful for her, where she's going to feel like she got to go behind my back to go date Young Thug because I didn't want him in my house. So I'm joking. I know you wouldn't date Young Thug. I'm messing with you. I don't even. Does he even like girls? I think he has a fiance, but anyway, that's not the point. So that's my perspective. That as a father, I know my opinion does matter. I know that I'm gonna tell you what I think, but at the same time, I have to share what I think in a context that is respectful to you and to him. What is your thought on my role in that process?
What you just said. I think it's about respect, and I think that you have to respect the fact that I'm even bringing. Because I mean, truly, I can marry whoever I want. I can have a child with whoever I want, and I don't have to introduce you to anybody. But I think that when a child does introduce their parent, it's more so of a this is who made me. This is why I am the way that I am. This is why you like me so much. So and I think that with guys, they're thinking, well, you know, these are the 2 people who came together and made you, and I'm in love with you, and I love everything about you. Then I'm gonna like them too. So he's gonna come in with a likable personality, and I think that it's all about your delivery. Some fathers, they're into that whole get the shotgun and have a conversation with him type of thing, and I'm just like, okay, well, you're gonna scare him because of your delivery. Now, if you just talk to him, ask him about himself, and act like you are interested in him, then I think that will bring some comfortability. And I think that when a father meets his daughter's boyfriend, if he acts nervous, it's okay. That doesn't mean that his intentions are poor or that he wants to do horrible, nasty, and stank things to your daughter. That just means that he's nervous. So I think that when you make people feel comfortable, that's when they show who they are, and then you will see. And I also think that parents have to trust what they raised and how they raised it. So trust me when I say that I'm bringing someone home that he's not goddamn Young Thug and he is a nice gentleman. Trust that because that's the way that I was raised. Take credit for what you put in.
I think that's a good point. I don't believe in those shotgun conversations. I think that on one hand you have to, as a man, you have to kind of lay down that respect for the guy. You know, lay down respect in the sense that make him respect you, to kind of let him know subtly that, you know, you are watching. As a father, you are observing, and you do kind of expect him to maintain decent behavior. You know, if you beat up my daughter, then I might have to beat you up or something like that. But as long as you're not getting overboard, then that's fine. You know, but I think also, you know, and that nervousness thing that you talked about, I think nervousness, I see nervousness as a sign of respect to me. I think that a guy that comes to meet his girlfriend's father, and he's just just chilling, putting his feet up on the coffee table, scratching himself, pants sagging, just overly relaxed. That's a sign of disrespect to a point, I think. So I think that if he comes in and he's reasonably confident, but kind of has a not so much complete nervousness, like just trepidation, but just like kind of a nervous respect, like wow, nice to meet you, sir. Yes, sir. I done it a lot. No, sir. I think that that's a good way to get started. And so what I'll say is, let's move to you. So we talked about the three characters. First we started with me. Now it's to you. All right. So my perspective with you would be that if you brought a guy home, my opinion is that you probably want to prepare him. Like let him know, what your parents are like. Actually prepare both parties. Let the parents know something in advance. Let the guy know something in advance. So nobody's really surprised. Everybody kind of knows what to expect. And that can soften the blow too. Like if you tell a guy, look, my dad's an ass, or my dad will talk your ears off, or whatever, then, maybe he can come and kind of prepare for that. Also, you may have to straighten him out. Like, no, put that cigarette out, or don't come in here, don't come in here after you went out drinking, or don't bring up such and such. My parents are religious, so just don't talk about that right now. You can talk about that later. You worship, you don't go to church. That's fine, but don't tell them right now. Like I think preparing people is a good way to go too. That way you can kind of smooth the transaction because you're the glue. You're the middleman, middle woman, right? So you have a role in making sure that the whole interaction goes smoothly and all that good stuff. Now, what do you think about your role?
I think it's pretty accurate. I think that for me, when I bring someone to meet my mom or to meet my dad, it's almost like an interview, almost like a job interview. And I personally am the type of person, I don't deal with sagging pants or nappy, uncut, unclean hair or gold teeth. That's just me. So anybody that I do bring home, please know that he is not going to look like I picked him up from the back of the dumpster or off of an Old Dirty Bastard music video. He is going to look like...
Did you say Old Dirty Bastard music video?
You remember? Well,
yeah, I remember Old Dirty Bastard. I think that's funny. Dude,
Old Dirty Bastard, he had like teeth and
right.
He didn't cut his hair, and I was just like, anyway, so like just know that he's not going to be that type of guy. He's going to be a guy like the kind that I like. But one thing that I do expect when I bring someone home is if he doesn't look to your standards or to my mom's standards, I would expect for you guys to say, well, if that's what you like, then that's what you should go for. Mm-hmm. Now, if he's disrespectful, if he's rude, if he's an asshole, those are things where my mom or my dad doesn't even have to tell me, Patrice, don't talk to him. I'm just going to make that choice on my own not to talk to him anymore. Because I don't feel like anybody should have to deal with that. I feel like every little girl is worth more than what some of these disrespectful idiots can give. Mm. And the same thing with guys. If you bring a girl home, if she's disrespectful or she's rude or whatever, just know that every nice guy can have a nice girl. You just have to give yourself that. And so, like I said, I would never let my spouse disrespect my parents. And I'm one of those people, if you do disrespect my parents and you act ridiculous in front of them, then I'm going to treat you like the bitch that you are in front of my parents. You're not going to be rude to my parents. I mean, that's just how I am. But after introducing my parents to my boyfriend, I would just hope that they're just like, well, he's a nice guy, and if you like him, then that's what matters. If you want to marry him, then that's what matters, because at the end of the day, that is what matters.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I agree with that.
You say bitch, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said bitch. Bitch is a bad word.
Oh, please. Come on.
Sometimes I gotta say that, though.
Well, as Ice Cube used to say, a bitch is a bitch. But he, we ain't talking about just male or female bitches. Bitches can come in all genders and all sizes. We know that. So the last part. Okay, so we talked about me. We talked about you. Now let's talk about him. Okay. My thought about him is that, when people, one thing I notice that people don't think about in relationships is they don't think about the importance of the fact that you're bringing somebody into your family. If you have a long-term relationship or you end up marrying that person, they're literally going to be a relative. So you have to think about how they're going to mix with your family, and then maybe even possibly even how their family might mix with your family if you decide to merge families. And so, ultimately, I think just being thoughtful about who you bring home, like because some people will date somebody just because they're cute or because they just are fun to be with or whatever, and they don't consider the bigger picture. That when you bring in somebody into your family like that, you're affecting the lives of a lot of people. So I personally think that with him, you obviously would want to coach him and prepare him to put his best foot forward. But then B, even before you get to that stage, make sure whatever him that you pick is somebody that is not going to make you feel awkward, not going to make you feel like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed that this person is interacting with my family. It's just not working. Because there's some people that you date that you just want to date, that you just like. And then there's some people you date where you want them to be a fixture in your life. And I think it's important to know the difference. And sometimes when you spill one into the other, that's when you can cause like all kinds of chaos. I mean, bringing the wrong person into your family can destroy your family. One good example I think of, it was a tragic thing, but I just think about when Jennifer Hudson's family members went through that tragedy a few years ago. I don't even want to rehash it because it was so horrible. But you think about that, this was a man that was brought into the family by somebody in the family. And so it doesn't mean that you necessarily know if somebody's going to do something that horrible. We know that kind of thing sometimes is unpredictable, but sometimes it is predictable. Sometimes you bring somebody around and you know that they got issues. You know they're crazy. You know they've hurt other people. And if you know those things, you have to ask yourself, is this somebody I should bring around my family? So that's my thought. What do you think?
About what you said, I mean, you pretty much say everything that I think anyway. But I think when a man or woman is introduced to the family, I think that it's very important for them to think about would I accept me into my family if I had a choice. You know what I'm saying? Or would and I mean I think it's kind of like when a man has a daughter, like would you treat your girlfriend would you treat your daughter how you treat your girlfriend or your wife? If you wouldn't treat me that way, then you shouldn't treat her that way. And I think that it's the same thing. Would you treat your mom the way that you treat my mom? Would you treat your dad the way that you treat my dad? If not, then don't do it. Obviously, if you know that there's something that you're doing wrong to your parents, you better not do that to my parents. Because if you do, you will get your ass kicked. And I think that when it comes to meeting the family, you just have to make sure that you're the kind of person that you would accept into your family. If you don't feel like you would accept your own actions into your family, then what makes you think that it's okay to do it when you come around someone else's?
Right. I think that's really important too. I have seen relationships fall apart because either somebody brought the wrong person home or because the family made that person feel uncomfortable. I think that one of the secrets, it's funny. Did you see the article or the video I did yesterday about Kenya Moore and what she said about there being no good black men because not all of them, she didn't say all, but she said most of them are in jail or gay or, unemployed and married and stuff like that. Did you see that?
On the phone.
Say it again?
Yesterday we talked about that when we talked on the phone.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that we talked about that. One thing I thought about is that, and I'm not saying Kenya's wrong about all of that. That's the side issue. The thing that I'm thinking about now is that sometimes, when I see a woman like Kenya Moore who's very pretty, sometimes I see people, especially girls, that focus so much on the external part that they don't understand the secret to really getting a man to want you to be a part of his family. Those are two different dynamics. Being attractive always helps. I mean, it's always fun to look at a pretty face, male or female. But that family piece is so important. I mean, when a man brings a woman home and he sees her just mix in with the family like sugar mixing into Kool-Aid, like he's gonna say, "Oh my gosh, that's my wife. That's the mother of my kids." She's looking all beautiful. She's in the kitchen helping mama make the cake. She's talking to the sisters and about basketball wives and whatever, and they whatever, I don't know, whatever girls do. And she's blending in. She's laughing at the father's jokes, whatever. Like that makes a man look at her and say, okay, she fits. She fits just like just like a hand in a glove. And what I believe is that. Some people don't. I think a lot of people miss out on that part. They miss just how important that is. And the hard part, though, is that some people have families that are just annoying. In fact, I would almost say that every family is going to have at least 2 or 3 relatives where you're like, oh my God, get me away from this person. So the question is, when you run into that, how do you respond? When somebody's bitchy towards you, but you're on their turf, you're trying to connect to this person's family. And one of their relatives is being bitchy towards you or annoying or whatever, are you bitchy back? Are you annoying back? Or do you just kind of adjust? I think that decision to adjust or to counterattack can make all the difference in terms of whether or not a person really sees you as somebody they want to have a long-term relationship with. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who's fighting with their family, because then you're forcing them to make a choice. And when they're choosing between one girlfriend or one boyfriend and their whole family, who do you think is going to win that battle?
The family.
The family. The family will almost always win. So when go ahead.
I think that if there is just 1 or 2 group people, but everybody else likes you, your best bet, and I know because this has actually worked for me, your best bet is to ignore those 2 people. Just completely ignore them. Say hello, keep it moving. Yep. Don't stand and have conversation with them. And if they start acting disrespectful in front of the family or whatever, more than likely, if these 2 people are being disrespectful but everybody else likes you, then the rest of the family's gonna stand up for you. So then who do you think that your boyfriend's gonna pick? He's gonna pick you and the rest of his family over these 2 or 3 stooges. You know what I mean? So I think that your best bet in a situation like that is to just never make yourself look bad. And I mean, that's in any situation in life. Even if people say some of the most sideways stuff to you, if you never make yourself look bad, then eventually they'll start to look bad. Because somebody has to look bad in this situation, and you've never acted an ass, so nobody's going to look at you like you are one.
Yeah, that's really true. Like, you have to, one thing, too, is with family, not all family members are created equal. Meaning, you got, if you date somebody, they got some relatives who are in their immediate family, and then they got relatives who are in the extended family. So let's say they got a couple of cousins or a grandparent or somebody that you don't gel with. At that point, I would also pay attention to, like, okay, how often am I going to have to deal with these people? Like if they're always with their cousins every week, then that's a little bit of a different equation than if they just see their cousin at a family reunion every 3 years. You see, and so the same thing is true with siblings and parents. Some people are really close to their parents, like clink clink. Some people have a distant relationship with parents and siblings. Like yeah, I got a brother. In fact, one time I dated a girl for 2 or 3 years, and I never met her brother, not once, because he was in another state. He never came to the state, And so sometimes, so evaluating that kind of thing is important because really, to me, if you're walking into somebody's life, it's like walking into somebody's house. You got to look around the house. Like, what's the structure of this, the foundation of the house? How big is it? How many rooms does it have? What's its shape like? So the same thing with a person's life. You look at their relationships. Okay, so they got 3 siblings. Are they the oldest or the youngest? How close are they with their siblings? Do they have a sibling that is always calling to borrow money? Or do they have a sibling that's always need to get bailed out of jail? Do they have a sibling that's always starting drama? Do they have a sibling that they're really close to, they want to do a business with? Like, you have to understand all of that so that you can understand what you're getting into and also understand how to pick your battles. Because if somebody's like super close like you, for example, I know you call your mama every day, and a smart man would never come into your life and say anything negative about your mama, even if it was true. He can't do it. Like, it would be tough. It would be a hard conversation. So he would have to make a choice to either zip it up or find a real polite way of saying stuff or not deal with it at all. It would have to be his decision. But if he doesn't think about that, he could end up, in a place he doesn't want to be. So I think the same thing is true for yourself. So when you meet a guy, get to know let him talk to you. That's the key. Like, you can learn a lot about people just by listening. So let him tell you his whole life story. Like, don't get mad. Like, all he does is talk about himself. No, that's good. When people talk about themselves, that's great. That means that they like you more when you're listening to them talk about themselves, because they get to feel like they're the center of attention. But really, you're getting information. You're understanding what shapes this person. Everybody's a product of their experiences. So when they're telling you about when their dog died when they were 8 years old, that's part of what shaped them. When they're telling you about their relatives, let them tell you about their close relationships. Let them tell you about how they look at money. When they talk about money, like, pick up on that so that you just kind of know what you're getting into. Because a lot of people, I think, they look at how cute somebody is, and how good they are in the bedroom, and how much fun they were on the last date, and then they lock in. Boom. Think about that. A good-looking man, an Idris Elba-looking man. I'm just picking him out. Chris Brown. Y'all remember you used to like Chris Brown. A Chris Brown-looking dude. Let's say Chris Brown with a master's degree, with no kids. Chris Brown with a master's degree, no kids, and only a couple of tattoos, not 50 of them. But anyway, I'm being silly. So a Chris Brown type dude comes up. He's good-looking. You're single. He asks you out. You go out on a date. You have a good time. He's really nice to you. Boom. I mean, at that point, he's controlling the car. All he got to do is not mess up, and he might still keep you for, like, good. So, but think about this. In that time, how much do you really know about that person? How much do you really know about how they think? How much do you know about their life? How much do you know about their past? You don't know anything, right? So I think that what we have to do is really think of it. Shopping for a partner is a little bit like shopping in a department store for clothes. When you go to a department store, you ever go to Forever 21? You ever notice how they always playing the music, the trendy music, make you feel all good? And you try on the outfit, they tell you how good it looks on you. You see the pictures of these slim-looking models looking all fly, and you want to look like that. All that's done to play with your emotions and to get you to do what they call impulsive buying, to buy without thinking. They don't want to appeal to your thinking brain. They want to appeal to your primitive brain, where you're like, I love this outfit. I got to have it now. Here's my $200, right? But a smart consumer does not do that. They filter all that out, and they think about the decision. Like, okay, this is a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. Well, same thing is true with picking a mate. A lot of people pick mates based on primitive instincts. He looks good. He's nice. It was fun. We had sex. It was amazing. I love him, right? No, you got to try to find a way around that so you can sit and really know what you're getting into, because, dating somebody and mating with them, that's a lifetime deal. That potentially, if you're not careful, it could be a lifetime contract that you're entering into without knowing anything about what you signed up for. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll let you get the last word. I know I said a lot, but you are such a good listener. See, there you go. See what I'm talking about? If you listen to a man, just let him talk. Men like that. Men like, they will thank you for that. So go ahead.
I definitely agree with everything that you said. And I think that because we kind of got off subject, we only stuck with the daughter introducing the boyfriend to the father. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think that when a father introduces his girlfriend to his children, in that aspect, your children are like the parents. So it has to be the exact same concept. If your children can't accept her, that's a huge deal, and you have to think about how you're going to handle that, but you have to let her know how she's going to handle it too, because you don't want people talking reckless to your kids, and you have to make sure that it's the right person who can be around your children. So,
wow. I think, you know what? I think that we should cover that on another daddy-daughter discussion, because I think that is worth a whole discussion by itself. You're right. I think I made the mistake. Maybe it was subconscious and I accidentally did it intentionally, which doesn't make any sense that you can accidentally do something intentionally. But maybe I did that by putting you in the hot seat, but I didn't put me in the hot seat. So next time we'll put me in the hot seat and we'll talk about.
But you had a lot of girlfriends.
Well, I ain't had a lot. I never got married. Don't be putting all my business out there like that.
A lot of them are nuts. So we got to talk about when you get crazy girlfriends and you introduce them to your daughter.
Lord have mercy. See, that's what happens when you talk to your kids in public. They just put your business out there. But that's all right. I'm going to be an open book for this. We'll have fun with it because it's a good teaching, learning experience. Well, it's very good talking to you, Patrice.
Good talking to you, too. Check out my YouTube channel, Naturally Treece, NaturallyTriece. It's actually growing a little bit, and last time I got a thank you for leaving nice comments. It's greatly appreciated.
All right, awesome. Yes, yeah. You got some good tutorials on like hair and makeup and all that stuff. That's your thing. That's your thing. You are a genius at the hair thing. I respect that. All right. Well, everybody, this is my daughter Patrice, and I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and these are our daddy-daughter discussions. So we hope you like them, and we hope that you'll comment also, and also leave questions. You know, if there's something that you'd like to see us discuss, please share it. Our goal is to just have an open conversation. As you can tell, it can be a little bit, we definitely keep it real, and it can even be embarrassing sometimes, but we're doing this to help other fathers and daughters connect in a productive way so that we can all learn and grow and strengthen our families. So until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.